This
October
conference
6th.
will now be recorded.
Can we please have a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Always give this comment. If you have your computer on and your cell phone on at the same time, please mute for one or the other so there is not a echo. Definitely would appreciate it. And Madam Secretary, can we have roll call, please?
Valerie Scott Cooper.
Yeah.
Keith Jones.
Here.
Sonia Sanders.
Here.
Heather Lewis.
Here.
Thomas LaPera.
Here.
Rebecca Smith.
Here.
Derek Perry.
Here. Can we have a motion to approve or amend any minutes from last council meeting?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye. Aye.
We had an executive session here today in regards to legal matters.
And there would be litigation and personnel, just to be more clear, Mr. President.
Okay. And personnel matters, legal and personnel matters. Thank you, Mr. Kilkenny. Vice President Smith, do we have any announcements?
Sure do. Theater Horizon has launched a new initiative called Art Houses, in which professional theater artists will guide Norristown households in creating and performing an evening of original theater. The rehearsal and performances will be done online from the comfort of your own home, and households who participate will be paid $500 for their participation. It's a nice way for you to have some fun with the family, make some money while you're at it. For questions or to participate, you can email Nell at Nell, N-E-L-L, at theaterhorizon.org. Montgomery County has established a number of locations so you can get your flu shot. Norristown's walk-up site is at 1433 Green Street. Appointments are required, and you can schedule yours at moncopa.org/flu or call 610-278-5145. And finally, we are currently in our preliminary budget process for 2021. I believe all the public preliminary budget hearings have passed, but you can review the materials and watch the recordings of our meetings on the website at norristown.org. Anybody else have any other announcements?
Yes, I have an announcement. The Norristown NAACP this Saturday will be at the Norristown Public Library from 10 to 12. They will be holding a voters registration in addition to mail-in ballots and some census information.
I have an announcement. Excited to announce that we will be continuing with Trunk or Treat. However, it will not be at Roosevelt School parking lot. It will be in partnership with the Norristown Rec Center, utilizing that amazing space. So there's one, we can direct the kids one way in and one way out, and utilize all the benefits of the rec center on the outside, decorate it really nice. The time is the same from 4 to 7 p.m. So any volunteers, vendors, or donations of candy are welcome. You can reach me at heather@bailfundmonco.org. And we're looking forward to, everyone coming out and getting dressed up, and social distancing will be adhered to. And we have some fun ways to distribute candy in a safe way. Was someone saying something?
No, they did it by accident.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so we're gonna make sure that we adhere to social distancing and all the safety measures and still have fun with our trunk or treat on Saturday, October 31st.
Mr. President, if nobody else has anything, I'd also like to add that as the Vice President shared today, we had completed all of the required public hearings on the preliminary budget, but due to COVID, we have decided to add an additional evening session to give the public one more opportunity to participate in and comment on the preliminary budget, and we will be getting that announcement out through our normal channels and media shortly.
I have one on Saturday also from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. The Democratic Women of Excellence present a voter registration drive that will be at Mount Zion Church at 1312 Willow Street, Norristown. Also, anybody else? Okay, seeing none. All right, Madam Secretary, do we have any public comments? You have to unmute yourself.
Sorry about that. Okay, the first one is Sharon Baptiste, 220 East Jacoby Street. I am requesting public comment for issues concerning the 200 block of East Jacoby Street. This is the third attempt to request speed bumps. We recently had a motorcycle accident involving 2 motorcycles speeding and crashing into 4 cars. Requesting to cut down 3 trees, 226, 220, and 214 Jacoby Street. The tree roots are affecting the sewer pipes underground. The 3 trees are supporting lanternfly infestation, and the tree limbs affect walking. The limbs hang too low, and the tree will eventually grow too large for the narrow street. Declan Jones, 1806 Harding Boulevard. The month of September, we endured a loud play in the zoo parking lot from Prism Theater Center. It took 3 weeks of complaining to stop the noise. It was finally lowered thanks to the intervention of Officer Bishop of Norristown Police Department. Going forward, can this neighborhood be assured of future noise ordinance enforcement or the law changed to include some type of sound barriers for the area? Thank you for your time. The neighborhood of Elmwood Terrace. Peter Simone of 119 East Lafayette Street. To the municipality, we wish to give our strong support to the conditional use application to Mill City Properties LLC for the proposed redevelopment of this property at 118 to 120 East Main Street. We are owners of the adjacent property at the Lafayette Street end of the site. We enthusiastically support this application that will be a major positive redevelopment initiative. We urge the municipality to approve this conditional use application. Thank you. Adam Gilbert Cole of 199 Lenape Drive in New Britain Township. No concern. I find the current move by Norristown Council to divest the sewer authority of their power over the assets of the sewer plant disheartening and dangerous. I understand that as a Norristown non-resident, my life is not directly impacted by this move. I want to state, however, that this move is part of a worrying trend in which private interests are subverting for their own gain the public infrastructure of our communities. I'd hope Norristown would be a guard against this kind of encroachment on our public goods, given its past decisions to endorse political programs that stand to benefit all citizens, as a public sewer system does. So I encourage council to not divest the sewer authority of its power. Please be the finger in the dam of the sell-off of our public infrastructure. I worry that this sale sets a precedent for all surrounding communities who have kept their public services public and will now have to be on guard against the sheep in wolves' clothing that are the likes of Aqua PA. James Lewis of 1400 block of Locust Street. I am a longtime resident of Norristown and the Norristown area. I have friends, family, and coworkers who live in the borough and are struggling during this time of pandemic and economic uncertainty. The sewer sale is honestly an embarrassing development. I have come to respect many of the council people in the past few years for their courageous stands against racism, charter schools, and for BLM and Medicare for all. This action, selling the sewer system, is opposed by thousands of your residents, the local NAACP, former council people, religious organizations, civic organizations of all types, Norristonians of all colors and creeds and political beliefs. The campaign against this privatization scheme has been shockingly effective. Norristown caring about what is happening on council is rare, and when an issue gets this much pushback, something must be wrong. All I have seen from council Sons Smith and Jones has been consternation and paternalistic sneering that residents were opposed to selling their system to a privately owned company who does not have their interests in mind, but only wants profit for its shareholders. I want council people to think about their legacy when their terms are up or when they are defeated at the ballot box in the next elections. Do you want to be known for protecting the poorest and most vulnerable Norristonians, or do you want to be known for selling Norristown's public assets to the lowest bidder like a house on auction? Thank you to the brave council people who will oppose this. No payday loan for Norristown paid on the backs of poor folks. Daniel Parker, 3107 North Wales Road, East Norton. Dear Norristown Municipal Council, my name is Dan Parker and I'm an East Norton resident. I regret that my township's sewer system was sold to Aqua on July 19 of this year with little alert to anyone in the town. It is shameful that private corporations are trying to carry out these transactions with no deliberation and input from the public. I am sad to see that you are also being used to create a sewer monopoly in our region that will rob the public of a fundamental asset and enrich a small pool of corporate investors at the expense of your working residents. The rates on Norristonians may increase from 60 to 200%, and by 2050, your residents will have paid hundreds of millions of dollars more than they would should you keep the sewer system in the hands of the Sewer Authority, which operates the system at $5 million per year. It has a symbol there, but it's not less than or more than, so I don't know. This proposed sale is frankly a horrible way to raise funds that betrays the trust of your residents, who will have paid Aqua back within 6 years following this proposed sale. I ask that you please reconsider this dreadful plan and think of the longtime residents of this town who will suffer that much more financial precarity should this sale go through. Best wishes, Daniel Parker. John Vale of 84 Center Avenue, Norristown. Anyone who is on the fence about the legitimacy of this sale should look no further than Aqua PA's profile on Better Business Bureau. Take out your phones and search Aqua PA now. Just take a cursory glance at their abysmal rating and litany of customer complaints from the local area. Abysmal, by the way. Even for any Norristown resident who is in favor of privatization of public utilities, the announcement of this sale should be a victory enough in that privatization is at the very least achievable. But to favor a permanent and irreversible contract with the first and worst possible candidate, that's just an unhealthy indifference to yourself and your own community. Just do the research. Thank you, John Vale. Britt Montoro, 937 West Trenton Avenue, Morrisville. I am a concerned Bucks County resident writing you to oppose the sale of the sewer to private interests. This sets a dangerous precedent to the rest of the Philly area suburbs that common utilities can be grabbed up by private interests and then controlled in ways that will make costs of service skyrocket. The sewer should not be sold and continue to be a public entity. Charles Hermini, 754 Stanbridge Street. I have lived in town since birth. I understand council is going to vote tonight on the sale of the sewer authority. I ask each council member to explain to the residents why you think this will be good for them. If you cannot tell us why you think this is good for all residents, then why are you voting to sell the sewer authority? Mike Wood, 1618 Trenton Avenue, Bristol. I'm extremely concerned about the ongoing sale of Norristown's publicly owned sewer system to Aqua America. Not only will rates for Norristown residents increase dramatically, but you are failing to consider the larger consequences. As the seat of Montgomery County, Norristown has the power to set a precedent for the region that could be disastrous. Just today, I heard that my own municipality, Bristol Borough in Bucks County, has been floating the idea of selling our sewer system. Frankly, I find the attempt by Aqua to monopolize Pennsylvania's water and sewage supplies to be disgusting. With environmental regulations disappearing left and right, we cannot let companies like Aqua take us back to the days of finding toxic chemicals in our waterways. If you consider yourself a person who's concerned about both the long-term and short-term effects of the people you serve, then I urge you to stop the sale today. Thank you. Maccabee Hirsch, 1745 North Hills Drive. This letter collectively serves as notice to the Norristown municipality. The undersigned are Norristown business owners in opposition to Ordinance 2014 and 2015, the selling of the Norristown sewer system and treatment plant to Aqua America, and the disbandment of the Norristown Waste Authority. The uncertainties surrounding this sale, the presentation laid forth by Aqua America and counsel, and the guaranteed ever-increasing sewer rates for years to come will impact the operations and, in turn, services we provide in the community. Furthermore, it has not been shown how this sale is in the best interest of the business community. We request that the council cease in its actions to dissolve the locally controlled sewer authority by voting no on Ordinance 2014 and furthermore overturning Ordinance 2011. Sincerely, Joe's Water Ice and Ice Cream, Albert Antonelli, Superwalk, John Zeng, Michelle Laundry and Dry Cleaning, Joanne Kim, Pauline's Deli and Restaurant, Anna Shin, and Alfredo's Restaurants, Franco Mateo. Mila Hayes, 1315 West Elm Street. Greetings, Norristown Municipal Council. Please accept my communication vehemently opposing the sale of the Norristown Municipal Sewer Plant. It is with considerable concern that I urge you to table this matter in order to promote more community engagement and thoroughly educate residents on the impact of this transaction. This process has been seemingly expedited without thoughtful community engagement and consideration of the global pandemic that looms over us, specifically the Norristown community. Lastly, I urge you to consider the potential and frankly unknown rising costs as a result of this transaction that will negatively impact our most vulnerable residents. Respectfully submitted, Mila Hayes. Fernando Feliciana, 728 Cedar Lane. My name is Fernando Feliciano Jr., and I am the current treasurer of the Norristown Municipal Waste Authority, and most importantly, citizen and resident of Norristown for over 20 years. I am again presenting my opposition to the sale and privatization of the municipality's last public asset. This sale to Aqua PA will raise sewer rates for the most vulnerable of our town, the poor, old, Black, and brown neighbors, family, and friends. Council's race to approve this sale also brings many questions. Why has council decided to minimize the public's dissent to this sale? Who is really benefiting from this sale? We have already spoken about how this sale will make living in Norristown much more difficult, as this will efficiently be a new tax, but not for our use, but for Aqua PA. We have already pointed out that privatization will allow rates to be raised at the whim of a corporation. As stated before, we have mentioned PFM has only provided the Aqua PA version of this sale. Members of council have decided to remain ignorant of all the facts, this and other sales of waste and water systems. The fact that other towns now regret their decision to sell to Aqua PA. The fact that Crandall Jones continues to provide inaccurate information to council. The fact that hundreds of your constituents have already signed petitions opposing this sale. The fact that those have the means, the fact that those that have the means will leave Norristown once this increase comes about. The fact that businesses will decide to leave Norristown as their cost to do business increases. As for this particular ordinance, the language of Section 5 is most alarming. I quote, authority's use of funds. The authority or any other party is hereby expressed prohibited from taking any action or expending any funds for the purpose of challenging the right of a municipality to take the action set forth in this ordinance, or which would have the effect of directly or indirectly hindering, impeding, or otherwise adversely affecting the municipality's ability to obtain control and ownership of the system. Council interprets a violation of this provision as cause for the removal of members of the board, the authority, under section 5610D of the Act, and grounds for surcharge, and hereby directs its agents and employees to take any and all necessary actions required to vindicate the violation. Most alarming is this language is basically a violation of the board members' civil liberties. This language provides the municipality the option to sue board members for exercising our freedom of speech. We all understand that there is a multi-billion-dollar corporation behind this sale, but wiring this language into the ordinance itself is extremely upsetting. How has this council decided to add this language? Will this language be used to the rest of our residents? I again urge council to vote this sale down for the sake of your neighbors, friends, and family. Respectfully, Fernando Feliciano Jr. Rachel Fecco, 715 Noble Street. In regards to the sewer issue, I don't know how many different ways there are left for me to tell you how abhorrent and unethical your behavior is. Mr. Crandall Jones and Mr. Perry, you keep creating one ordinance after another in order to get your way, despite the overwhelming evidence that you are acting outside what your community wants and needs. It's disgusting and shameful, and it's things like this that make the public not trust you and lose hope for civic involvement. However, you are underestimating the power of the people. Together, Norristown is going to persevere until our voices are heard and the public is justly served. David McMahon, 721 Halls Avenue. My name is David McMahon, and I'm writing on behalf of the Norristown Opposes Privatization Efforts. I want to lay out briefly to the public why our organization, NOPE, opposes the two ordinances intended to be adopted tonight. As it stands now, the sewer authority can currently meet capacity needs. It is positioned to meet future needs and increased demand. It currently has the lowest rates in Montgomery County. They have a multi-million-dollar improvement plan that will not require increased sewer rates. It will be paid for by efficiencies that the plan itself implements. It is a positive example of local control addressing and meeting local needs. It is an example of effective long-range planning. In short, it is a well-managed operation. So it is the height of irony that this well-managed operation that not only meets its own expenses, but also contributes over $1 million to the municipal budget of Norristown, is now intended to be sold off by a council and municipal administrator that is facing a $2.5 million budget shortfall. Frankly, I'd rather have the sewer authority manage our finances than the current situation. The sewer authority runs on about $5 million a year budget. Now, when Aqua PA owns it and our rates double, they will be charging ratepayers $10 million a year to run a system that only requires $5 million a year. And when I say the double, this is based on information presented in the May public hearings. It's on the slides that exist from the hearing. And if rates triple, also a projection based on information from the May public hearing, they will be charging us $15 million a year to run a $5 million a year system. These are millions upon millions of dollars leaving Norristown for good because this monumental sale of fully 1/3 of the assets of the entire municipality will be permanent. So these basic facts in mind, I understand how Norristown is in dire financial straits right now. This is fundamental mismanagement, and this surrender of a valuable public asset to a private corporation intent on creating a regional monopoly disastrously compounds the mismanagement. It would virtually eliminate the ability of local residents to have an impact on addressing local concerns, Public Utility Commission notwithstanding. It reduces our future ability to use the assets of the sewer authority as a financial instrument, as just one basic example. It lays bare the fundamental inability of our current local government to manage our financial affairs. This will be a fiscal straitjacket and hardship for our community, and we intend to make that case to the public over the next 30 days and collect enough signatures from registered Norristown voters to repeal both these ordinances, 2014 and 2015, that it seems will inevitably be passed this evening. This is a deal that is designed to benefit a handful of influential people to the detriment of the community at large. And that's all I have. Okay, good. You heard that, right?
Yep, I heard you. I'm just trying to get back on. Thank you, thank you. Thank you all for the comments. We appreciate them. Thank you. We are going out of order in regards to our agenda. So we are going to agenda E first, which is the municipal solicitor, which is the resolution number 20-86. Mr. Kilkenny, can you lead us in that, please?
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Can I have a motion to open the public hearing to transfer the internal municipal transfer of liquor license?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Would you like to call the
All
vote,
in
Mr.
favor? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you very much, Mr. President. Before council is resolution 2087, resolution 2086 for Two Farms, Royal Farms internal municipal transfer of the liquor license. I'm going to mark as municipality 1 a copy of the advertisement of this hearing in our newspaper general circulation. I also see Mr. Jordan, who is the attorney for the applicant. If he would like to make a brief presentation to council, there will be an opportunity for council questions, public comment, then we can close the hearing. And if council so chooses, take action on resolution 2086.
Good evening. My name is Jonathan Jordan. I'm the attorney for Royal Farms. And I'd like to start by saying that I submitted a very detailed application to you all. It's the most detailed application I've ever done for a liquor license. So I think that's kudos that hopefully you guys have a lot of information about us and what we plan to do. I don't want to take up too much of your time, so I'm going
We'll
to
have that marked as M2, so it's in the record, Mr. Jordan. Yes.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. So anyway, I don't want to belabor anything because I'm sure you guys have been through this before, and I know you have a lot on your plate tonight. So I'm going to keep my remarks brief and then answer whatever questions you have. I'd like to start by saying Royal Farms is a regional convenience store operator based out of Baltimore. They have approximately 200 stores, approximately 16 in Pennsylvania. All of the Pennsylvania stores have liquor licenses or will hopefully soon have liquor licenses. We sell beer, a little bit of wine, and sales are somewhere between 6 and 10% of overall sales, excluding gasoline. So that's in line with other convenience stores and grocery stores. And we've never been denied. We've done about 16 intermunicipal hearings, never been denied by the LCB. We've never been cited for LCB violations except one. There's a statute that says that you need to report a change of management within 15 days. We reported it within 20, so we got a $200 fine. But other than that, we've never violated the PLCB rules and regulations. We run a very tight ship. This is not a place where you're going to go and hang out and have a drink. It's by law we have to use the same liquor license that a restaurant would have, but we don't encourage anybody to sit and drink, and we put a limit of one per person, but nobody comes to our stores and drinks. It's not the kind of environment that you want to hang out in. We have approximately 40 video cameras throughout the store, so besides the on-site staff, it's also always being monitored off-site. Everybody goes through liquor license or liquor training, fake IDs, how to tell if somebody's drunk, all of that. We send mystery shoppers into the stores to try to buy contraband with, make sure that they're checking IDs. We card everybody under 40. When you scan a liquor, can of beer, the SKU code prompts the cashier to ask for a driver's license and verify age. So, again, it's a tight ship that we run, and this is a brand new store that's opening later this week. I guess that's all I have. If we get through this process, then we have to go through a very lengthy process with the PLCB that takes several months before we could start serving beer.
Mr. Jordan, are there any limitations on the hours that alcohol can be sold at Royal Farms?
Yes, sir. Cuts off, wine sales cut off at 11 p.m. and other beer sales cut off at 2 a.m. That's per PLCB regulations. Also, you can only sell 196 ounces of beer in one transaction, or 4 bottles of wine in one transaction. 196 is a 6-pack of 16-ounce beers.
So that concludes your presentation. Let's see if council had any questions, Mr. Perry.
Council, any questions or comments for Mr. Jordan?
Yeah, I have one, Councilman Perry. Mr. Jordan, you touched briefly on what the revenue looks like when it comes to selling alcohol out of the store. What does that do for the bottom line of your business, and how does that directly impact our community as far as the revenue goes?
Well, basically, it's something that we need to do to keep up with, the competition. Grocery stores are selling beer. Other convenience store chains are selling beer. Turkey Hill Sheets. Wawa is slowly getting into it, but basically, it's a competition issue. It's something that, it's a convenience for our customers. I don't know the dollars and cents of it really, other than the percentage of sales.
Council, any other questions or comments? Mr. Solicitor, I do have one. Can we, knowing Norristown and how comfortable some, not saying that Royal Farms will do this, but how some organizations and companies in Norristown do, can we put limitations in regards to this ordinance as we pass it to, I know it says no limit in regards to the alcohol, but can we make it into just a grab and go instead of someone sitting into the location, just have it as a grab and go in the contract?
So Mr. Jordan, would you like to comment on that?
Yes, that is not something that the PLC will, but as I said before, we do have, we do sell beer out of 16 stores, and I'm always asking them, and nobody ever sees anybody sit down and drink. We do have signs that say 1 per customer, just in case somebody decided to drink, because we don't want that. You know what I mean? We don't encourage it. We don't make it a comfortable place to sit and drink, but it's a state law thing that you have to at least make an effort to say that you sell beer on location.
I have to say, in all the Royal Farms that I've been in, I have yet to see any tables or chairs where one could sit and eat or drink. So I don't know if that's something that's going to be in this Royal Farms. Is there a place to sit down and eat your chicken and drink your beer?
Yeah, there is.
All of the stores do have seating, as a matter of fact, but I've never seen anybody sit there unless they're waiting for a fresh batch of chicken.
Right, yeah, maybe that's why I've never noticed it.
I've eaten chicken in the Lansdale Royal Farms, so full disclosure, and sat down and ate it.
Okay, well, I've never seen it. So I guess it doesn't happen often.
Council, any other questions or comments?
But to your point, President Perry, we do have some folk that will take advantage of that.
Maybe your solicitor. So there you go.
Don't we know a lot of people that will go on that line? Council, any other questions or comments? Okay. Seeing none, can we have this
See if
is
there's any
for
public comment.
Yep,
Mr.
public
President.
comment. So from the community, any public comment for Mr. Jordan? I see caller 71. Oh, okay, hold on. So I'm going to go with caller 71 first, then I'll go with, okay, I'll go with caller 71 first, caller 72 second, caller 73 first, third, 68, 69. I'll just call on you as you go. Caller 71 first. Anyone open to talk about or talk to Mr. Jordan in regards to rural farms? You can mute all of them. Mr. Tustin, please. Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. Can we have a motion to close the public hearing for resolution number 20-86, please?
Motion.
Salute.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Roll call. Is there a roll call?
Roll call.
No.
Oh, okay.
Not a roll call on not on a closing hearing.
Not on closing the public hearing, only on the resolution itself.
Right. Sorry.
Yeah, I know, Sean. Can we have a motion to pass resolution number 20-86 for two farms incorporated DBA Royal Farms internal municipal transfer liquor license for 1218 Markley Street, Norristown, Pennsylvania?
So moved. Second.
Second.
Madam Secretary, can we have roll call, please?
Ellie Scott Cooper,
Aye.
Hakeem Jones,
Aye.
Tony Sanders,
Aye.
Heather Lewis,
Aye.
Thomas LaPera,
Aye.
Rebecca Smith,
Aye.
Derek Perry.
Aye, the ayes have it. Resolution number 20-86 passes. Next, we are going out of order once again. We're going to planning and municipal development. Ms. Massagne, can you do the request for conditional use for 118-120 East Main Street, please?
Yes, Councilman,
Mr.
good
President,
evening.
may I suggest this? Why don't we open the conditional use hearing first? I'll mark some exhibits, and then Ms. Massagne will give a brief report, if that's okay, Mr. President.
Okay, I heard you. Can we have a motion to open up public comment for the use of public hearing for the conditional use approval for mixed use project at 118-120 East Main Street, the Bear Building, please?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? All in favor, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Ms. Massagne, please.
Thank you, Council President. Good evening, Council members. Before you tonight is a request for a conditional use approval for 118-120 East Main Street. Council has been given a presentation, the business concept on August 18th and gave feedback to the developer. And on September 15th, the developer came back and requested for council to accept his letter application. They also heard the presentation that evening. Following that, this conditional use application has been advertised as is required by law. It was advertised on September 28th. And tonight they're here to request your approval for conditional use. The uses that are being considered are residential mixed use, which includes the E-Spot, Brew Pub Sports Bar, Willis Brothers Barbecue, Bike Shop, and car detail. And that one I will explain a little later. 15 residential units, rooftop bar, and yoga studio. But for this particular mixed use request, we're excluding the car detail since that use is not permitted in the town center. They would require to have a zoning hearing board hearing for a variance. But for now, this is what they're asking for council to consider approval. And that ends my report.
And I'm going to go ahead and mark some exhibits. Copy as Municipal 1 will be a copy of this advertisement. M2 will be a copy of the presentation and the conditional use application. M3 will be the review letter signed by Mr. Cal Hassan of Pannoni Engineering. Real quickly, I know some of the application for the conditional use, Ms. Massanier and Mr. Hassan talked about residential apartments on various floors of the conditional use. You just want to clarify that so council understands that that would be in the scope of any kind of approval that they gave this evening, just so it's very clear for the record, and we could put it in a conditional use decision if this is granted.
Council, any questions or comments?
Mr. Hassan, did you just want to explain that real quick? Or Ms. Massanier?
Yes, actually, apartments are permitted above the ground floor. So that's a typical mixed use type of use in the town center district.
That is correct.
Council, any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, we will go to any questions or comments from the public. Any questions from the public? Any questions from the public? Okay,
yes.
seeing none.
Okay.
Go ahead, ma'am.
What
Can you
about
please state your,
parking?
hold on, ma'am. Can you please state your name, your address, and then you can give us your question. Thank you.
Okay, Margaret Delasanti on 14 East Main Street.
Okay, go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, my question would be, would there be required parking for the apartments that would be put into that building?
May I answer, Council President?
You sure can. It's your question. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, for the town center district, there's no parking required. However, this developer has asked a council, that's one of the asks, to see if they can have some parking spaces at the Main and Green parking lot where the 5 Saints is. That lot is owned by the municipality. They've also explored the possibility of also using the SEPTA garage on overflow parking when they have events at that particular development. So that's how they'll be coming back for additional asks, and parking is one of them.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Any other questions from the public? Any other questions from the public? All right.
There will be a
Mr.
motion to
Tustin.
close the public hearing, and then once that's done, a motion to approve the conditional use.
I got you.
Gotcha, just keep it on track.
Can we have a motion to close the public hearing for the request for conditional use approval for a mixed use project at 118-120 East Main Street, Bear Building, please?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Can we have a motion to request for conditional use approval for 118-120 East Main Street, Bear Building from Municipal Council? The residential mixed uses include the E-Spot, Brew Bar, Sports Bar, Willis Brothers Barbecue, the Bike Shop, Car Detail, 15 residential units, rooftop bar, and yoga studio, excluding the Car Detail use since it's not permitted use in the town center zoning district and requires a variance from the zoning area.
So moved.
Second.
Secretary, can we have roll call, please?
Ellie Scott Cooper,
Aye.
Hakeem Jones,
Aye.
Sonia Sanders,
Aye.
Heather Lewis,
Aye.
Thomas LaPera,
Aye.
Rebecca Smith,
Aye.
Derek Perry.
Aye. Ayes have it. The request for the conditional use for 118-120 Main Street is passed. Okay, now we're going back to our original agenda. So municipal administrator, solicitor, can you go with item A for ordinance 2020-14, please?
I'll turn that over to Mr. Wyatt, who is special counsel for this project.
Thank you, Mr. Kilkenny. Good evening, council and residents. The 2020-14 is up for vote tonight. There's not a lot more to say than the summary that I gave when we decided to, and council voted to advertise. This ordinance does what the municipality has the legal right to do, and that is take the assets back from the authority. It will do so in an orderly fashion. It will do so by either assuming the impediments that are currently at the authority or discharging those impediments, all in accordance with statute. And so that's the tone and tenor and purpose of this ordinance, Mr. Kilkenny.
Council, any questions or comments? Councilman Jones.
Yeah, before we make this detrimental, very serious decision, I just wanted to address my colleagues, ask you a few questions. Why do we think these sales are being pushed so often and so fast throughout our region the past few years? Why are we seeing township after township selling their public utility to a private company? Another thing I want you guys to consider as we make this decision is think about who this is ultimately going to benefit. Think about the large corporations who come to towns like Norristown, Chester, and other communities with gold mines sitting in them. Think about the legal professionals and all the people around the table who have tirelessly worked at educating us to sell this system for over a year. Despite a pandemic hitting us, despite our country shutting down, and many other things happening here in our community. Think about the many people that are going to benefit from this who don't call Norristown their home, who would never call Norristown their home. And when I think of the people that get hurt by this decision, I think of the lifelong residents. I think of the longtime residents. I think of people who have worked for decades, who have bought their homes, who have upkept their homes, who've paid their taxes, and who've always poured into our community's bottom line. Those are the people I think of who get impacted by these type of decisions. I think of the residents who raised their children here, who put them through school, bought their first homes, and they're still fighting every day to stay in the community that they love and that they don't want to go. I even look at the hardworking and the reliable rental community who are constantly paying overpriced rent, but are doing it. They are also contributing to this town. They're also paying their taxes and obviously paying taxes for property owners. And lastly, the Sewer Authority board members and the staff. They've run that facility. You haven't heard, I've been on council 5 years. I haven't heard much of any disruption, noise, or aggravation. They've shown that they have fiscally sound financials to continue their services on that sewer plant. They've also shown that they have taken out the investment to put into the facility to handle any future development that may come our way. So not only are we paying people with our tax dollars to work for our community, but I feel like many folks are working against our community. When I say community, I say the people that have been here, the people that live here. And I'm not talking about the people who we want to lure here. And I'm not talking about the quote new resident that Norristown's trying to bring here. So I'm adamantly opposed to this. I'm going to continue to be opposed to this. I think the people should have the decision. They should have the say on whether or not this asset is sold to a private company. Thank you.
Council, any other questions or comments? Vice President Smith.
I'd like to echo much of what Councilman Jones had to say. As we go into this next round of votes on the sewer system, I just want to ask that we all consider the public responses we've heard over the past few months with at least equal weight to what we've heard in private behind closed doors. And to think as we go into a tough budget season, and as all of the other private utilities that we already have, water and electric, have filed for rate increases with the PUC this year, that we listen and lead in a way that's best for the people we serve. Like Councilman Jones says, the people that we already serve, not the people that we think may move here someday.
Council, any other questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, can we have a motion to adopt Ordinance 2020-14 requiring the Norristown Municipal Waste Authority to convey the sewer system and all property and assets of the authority to the municipality under provisions of Section 5619 and Section 5622 of the Pennsylvania Municipal Authorities Act?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Madam Secretary, can we have roll call, please?
Valerie Scott Cooper,
Aye.
Hakeem Jones,
Nay.
Tony Sanders,
Aye.
Heather Lewis,
Aye.
Thomas LaPera, Rebecca Smith,
Nay.
Derek Perry.
Aye. Motion to adopt Ordinance 20-14 passes. Can you go on to the next one, Mr. Wyatt, please, which is B, Ordinance 2020-15, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. This is a companion piece to the previous ordinance that was just passed. After lengthy discussions and cooperation with the authority in drafting a three-party asset purchase agreement, we became aware that the authority did not want to enter into the asset purchase agreement And so we made it a two-party asset purchase agreement. And prior to the closing of that transaction, we will be reacquiring all of the assets of the authority pursuant to just passed 2020-14.
Council, any questions or comments?
You have a comment?
Mr. Councilman Jones.
I just want to, on the record, give kudos to the authority for being proactive and really working to stand by their decision. Their story was not told in the way that it should have been told, and I'm glad that they've spent these past several months really trying to educate and inform the people how stable they are and what they're capable of doing.
Council, any other questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, can we have a motion to adopt ordinance 2020-15, repealing Norristown ordinance number 11 of 2020, authorizing the execution by the municipality of a new asset purchase agreement between the municipality and the purchaser, Aqua Pennsylvania Wastewater Incorporated, for assignment of the municipality's rights and obligations in the sewer system, and removing the Norristown Municipal Waste Authority as a party to the asset purchase agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Madam Secretary, can we have roll call, please?
Valerie Stark Cooper,
Shoot. Oh, shoot.
We can hear
Aye.
you.
Rowan,
She
aye.
said, "Oh, shoot."
I couldn't get to it.
You were on.
Anyway, aye.
Hakeem Jones,
Nay.
Sonia Sanders. Yes, I don't hear her. Heather Lewis, I'll go back to her.
Aye.
Okay,
I said aye.
gotcha.
Thanks.
Heather Lewis,
Aye.
Thomas LaPera,
Aye.
Rebecca Smith,
Nay.
Derek Perry.
Aye, the ayes have it. 5-2, motion to adopt ordinance 2020-15 passes. Mr. Wyatt, can you lead us into C?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. And so this authorizes my law firm, Obermeyer, to function as special counsel as the municipality undertakes any and all litigation and takes any and all necessary legal actions to carry forward the purposes and content of the two previous ordinances that you just passed. And I would note for council that we have an injunction against us from the Municipal Waste Authority, for example.
Council, any questions or comments? Vice President Smith.
Yes, I have two questions. I guess my first is just a why any and all litigation. That seems like kind of a blank slate, as opposed to discussing litigation on a case-by-case basis. And then the second question is whether or not we're still projected to stay within the legal fee estimates of our initial projections, or if we should alter our understanding of what our final net sale would be.
Your net sale, Councilwoman.
If it's sale at $82 million, and then after legal fees and closing and paying off debts, we're at 54, is that still on track?
At this stage where I stand, it's impossible for me to tell you. I will say that we have been sued. I did not sue the municipality, and so predicting what will happen next in a lawsuit that we did not bring or ask for is very difficult to do. However, I would be happy to discuss with you the legal budget and the strategy and expectations that would accompany that budget at the appropriate time and place.
Yes, I guess I'd like more regular, or I guess any updates on the legal budget. But I guess for my first question is still, doesn't any and all now kind of sound like a blank slate instead of just a case-by-case basis?
Yeah, and that's an excellent question, Councilwoman. And so the intent is to make sure that we take account of the fact that right now there is one plaintiff and there is one intervener. There very well could be other interveners. Again, it's very impossible for us to predict what will happen next in a piece of litigation. But the intent is that we would only be representing the municipality with respect to 2014 and 2015. It wouldn't be anything beyond the scope of those. But again, since we did not sue ourselves and we don't know who will join the suit, it's impossible to predict what might happen next. So we wanted to give council flexibility.
Council, any other questions or comments? Councilman Jones.
Yes, Mr. Wyatt, is Obermeyer currently involved with any other potential sewer sales, or are they currently fighting or litigating in behalf of any other townships at the moment?
So I represent a number of municipal clients. I don't represent American Water or Aqua America. So my only clients are municipal clients. And yes, I'm proud to represent many of them.
Now, my question was, is Obermeyer currently representing any other township or municipality in a certain in a similar manner to what we're going through as far as sewer sale litigation or potential sewer sale litigation?
I think, you know, every single sale is different. There's no exact litigation like this that I'm involved in, but I think sometimes controversies come about in the sale context. If you have a specific question, Mr. Councilman, I'd be happy to answer it. I want to caution you that I would want to come before you and talk about my other clients, because my other clients wouldn't respect me for coming to them and talking about you. So I want to be very cautious and respectful of my attorney-client privilege, and the fact that having my client, making sure that talking about my clients in front of you is appropriate and tailored to this circumstance.
So Pennsylvania sewer sales that are taking place right now, they're not a matter of public record?
They certainly are.
Mr. Solicitor, not Mr. Wyatt, but our solicitor, Mr. Kilkenny, can you go into details in regards to client, the litigation and what, as you being a lawyer, what you can and cannot say as you represent another community?
Sure. The advice that myself or Mr. Wyatt give to Norristown or any other municipal body is privileged. So therefore, that advice, to publicly discuss and release that advice, we would need consent of our client. I'm sure Mr. Wyatt can say he's been involved in several sales that have received PUC approval, and some have had filings in them or not, but each case is different. But we as attorneys are bound, the advice we give is privileged, and to go ahead and release that, we would just need consent of the client. But Mr. Wyatt could comment on things that were public, but he couldn't really talk into the satisfaction or the advice he gives to any of his clients, unless if Mr. Wyatt feels differently. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I'm happy, Mr. Councilman Jones, to list off all of my municipal clients if you'd like. But I can tell you, just to be clear, I don't represent Aqua at all in any way, shape, or form. And I don't represent American Water any way, shape, or form. But I'm proud to represent Norristown in many other municipalities in this country.
Council, any other questions or comments? Okay, seeing none. And we have a motion to authorize Obermeyer, Reedman, Maxwell, and Hipple LLP special counsel for the municipality to undertake any and all necessary litigation and take any and all necessary legal actions before any court or the Pennsylvania Public Utilities Commission in connection with the adoption and effectiveness of Norristown Ordinances 2020-14 and 2020-15.
So moved.
Second.
Madam Secretary, can we have roll call, please?
Valerie Scott Cooper,
Aye.
Hakeem Jones,
Nay.
Sonia Sanders,
Aye.
Heather Lewis,
Aye.
Thomas LaPera,
Aye.
Rebecca Smith,
Nay.
Derek Perry.
Aye, the ayes have it. The motion to authorize Obermeyer, Reedman, Maxwell, and Hipple LLP passes. Mr. Administrator, can you please lead us for D, please? Or would that be Mr. Wyatt?
That'd be Mr. Wyatt.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President. So, keeping with the tone and tenor of the ordinance of orderly and professionally assuming the assets of the authority, once that occurs, we're giving the municipal administrator the ability to run the sewer system in the interim period between the time it is owned by us and we get PUC approval and it is sold to Aqua.
Council, any questions or comments? Councilman Jones and Vice President. Oh, no, Vice President Smith first.
Councilman Jones can go. You called on him first.
Yeah, Mr. Wyatt, you got towards the end of that. Could you repeat that explanation on what's about to take place in this this ordinance?
This motion, sure, definitely,
Yeah,
and perhaps I can read it and provide any color. It's to take any and all actions required by the charter of municipality and other applicable law to effectively operate the assets of Norristown Municipal Waste Authority until such time as the sale of the sewer system to Aqua is perfected. And I would note, and I neglected to note, is that as a part of this transition, all of the represented employees at the authority will become employees of the municipality.
Okay, so I do have a question. This is to our administration and my colleagues. So overnight, we would become the operator of a sewer plant. We have other responsibilities: public works, police department, fire, code, parks and recreation. Mr. Jones, what are some realities of now taking over a sewer authority and additional employees? Financially and also on the personnel side.
Thank you, Councilmember Jones. So financially, the municipality would in the interim assume all of the assets and along with the liabilities of the sewer authority. So just as the sewer authority handles its business now, to continue the same way, except that those resources would be resources that the municipality will handle in the interim. As far as the additional personnel, that's no issue. It's just additional personnel and operation and oversight of the operation of utilities. Actually, in this instance, is something that I'm used to. In my previous employment as city manager, we were responsible and I oversaw the operation of a water sewer operation, the power, electric operation, and a sanitation operation as well. So we'd have the appropriate professional staff supporting us. We maintain the existing staff within the current budget that the sewer authority operates under.
Vice
would note-
President.
Sorry, Mr. Perry.
I'm sorry, Go ahead, Mr. Meyer. Go ahead.
And I would note that it's going to take several months, perhaps 6 to 8, to effectively coordinate the changeover of the assets back to the municipality. So I don't think anything will be happening overnight. We'll have permits to change. We'll have 537 plans to update. We'll have to make sure all of the employees are properly transitioned. And so I think if the transition is done appropriately, this is also an asset that kicks off revenue. And so there shouldn't be much of a change between the operation by the municipal authority and the municipality of Norristown. It'll be the same employees doing the same good work.
Vice President Smith.
Yeah, my question for this is similar to the blank slateness question in the last item. I'm just wondering about the wording here about this being the municipal administrator and the council president. Not to pick on the two of you, Mr. Jones and President Perry, you're great. But to me, that feels like representation by 1/7 of Norristown's representation and not the full body. And so I was wondering why that was the choice, and why not all 7 of us are part of it. Because to me, that'd be like, you know, Erica does a great job with parks, but when there's new equipment, all 7 of us consider it instead of just 1 of 7.
Well, I'll start and certainly say that we would operate under the same auspices that we currently operate with the other business of the municipality. In terms of the day-to-day operations, that's the staff function. But certainly any decisions that as currently with capital personnel issues beyond the lower level personnel, it's the same operation. So that this isn't excluding the council from any duties that the council authority or oversight that the council normally assumes in terms of the day-to-day operations of the municipality as well. So there's no, from my standpoint, there's no special treatment related to that at all.
So I guess just my clarification then, what is the special particular role of the council president versus the role of the body then?
There will be things that the council president, as he does now, would have to sign off on as the sitting president of the council, and some of those things are administrative, some of them are legislative, as we bring forth to the council now with any other operations. This authority is not a private authority; it's a quasi-public authority, so it operates, operationally pretty much like a form of government. So there won't be anything of any major substance that council would not be aware of.
One thing I can say that I have always done since being in the president is to always come and talk to you guys about decisions that are made throughout Norristown. And as a whole, I will continue to keep on doing that as we keep moving forward in all decisions that affect Norristown. Council, any other questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, can we have a motion to authorize the municipal administrator, subject to the express review and approval of the Norristown Council President, to take any and all necessary, let me change that. Motion to authorize the municipal administrator, subject to express review and approval of the Norristown Municipal Council and President, to take any and all necessary actions required by the charter of the municipality and other applicable law to effectively operate the assets of Norristown Municipal Waste Authority until such time as the sale of the sewer system to Aqua Pennsylvania Wastewater Incorporated is perfected.
Councilman Perry, the language is what it is. So for the record,
So
the
moved.
ordinance is as printed.
Second.
Madam Secretary, can we have roll call, please?
Valerie Scott Cooper,
Aye.
Hakeem Jones,
No.
Sonia Sanders,
Aye.
Heather Lewis,
Yes.
Thomas LaPera,
Aye.
Rebecca Smith,
Nay.
Derek Perry.
Aye. The ayes have it 5-2. Motion to authorize is passed. Municipal Administrator, can you go to Resolution 20-87, please?
Thank you, Mr. President. Council, what you have before you is a resolution for a roadway maintenance agreement for SR 3020, which is Barbados Street improvements that will include improvements that will basically encompass improvements to our roadway system, because at the end of this construction work, the roadway will be conveyed, the additional roadway will be conveyed to the municipality in perpetuity for maintenance. PennDOT is acquiring right-of-way for these improvements, and the right-of-way, part of that right-of-way is coming from the Montgomery County Intermediate Unit System. We have the municipal engineer, Cal Hassan, is here, and he's going to kind of run you quickly through some of the technical aspects of it. I will put up on my screen the drawing in terms of what exactly we're talking about. And Cal, you can take it away right now.
Thank you, Crandall. I'll go ahead while you're pulling up the sketch, I believe, on the plan. As Municipal Administrator Jones had mentioned, this is a project that PennDOT had undertook quite some time ago, actually. It had evolved over the past several years with some improvements that the administrator, myself, Public Works Director, Ms. Marchenier also was involved. We had commented on some of the improvements that they were making. As you will see from the sketch, right now, Barbados does not connect between Lafayette and also Washington. The sketch that you'll see before you right now will show you, actually, it's color coded. You see the green area, or even though the road itself extends beyond that. But this is where the new connection is. If you go north of that, that will take you to Lafayette. As you're looking on the screen, turn a quick right and then immediate left. You will see this is where the existing Barbados right now connects with Lafayette Street. Some of the improvements that are associated with this project are obviously the road improvements. There's curb, there's sidewalk, there's stormwater facilities. There is trail connections on both the northern end and the southern end. Quite some time ago, looking at the Barbados Street right now, on the right side of the MCIU parking lot, there used to be a retaining wall. Because PennDOT had approached the municipality at the time, and they had suggested, as they always do in many projects, okay, Norristown, you're going to be taking over maintenance responsibilities. That's when we raised concerns, because the municipality does not and should not be in the business of maintaining and retaining walls. So since then, the retaining wall has gone. They're providing now an easier slope, 2-to-1, that a retaining wall is not needed, but then the embankment is stabilized without the need for a retaining wall. So where does that put us? PennDOT, as Mr. Jones mentioned, they will be acquiring the right-of-way. PennDOT will be taking upon themselves the complete cost and construction responsibility. As we move forward, and once the project is completed, then they'll hand it over to the municipality for maintenance. This is not an abnormal request. Actually, such requests are made regularly. The only comment I would make for council for your consideration, if you look on the green box, if you will, the upper side seems to be clear. What I'm trying to point out is I don't think as part of this maintenance, the municipality should be responsible for the trail on top and the 8A ramps, and the same thing at the bottom. The green box that was put together by PennDOT seems to suggest that the ramp and the trail are part of the maintenance. So if you could, as a caveat or as a condition to your vote tonight, if you elect to move so, if you can exclude the bottom or have PennDOT clarify that the 8A ramps on the southern end and the trail rather are not part of something that the municipality will be undertaking. The reason being is those features are owned by Montgomery County as part of the trail system. That's all I have. I hope I had provided clarification. I'll answer any questions you have for me.
Council, any questions or comments for Mr. Cal? If you do, just go ahead and start asking them. Okay, hearing none. Can we have a motion to pass resolution 20-87, which is the roadway maintenance for SR 3020, section 530. The Commonwealth is making improvements to Barbados Street, which will include improvements to municipality's local road system. PennDOT is acquiring the right of way for the improvements to the local road system for the benefit of the municipality.
So moved.
Second.
Can we have roll call, please, Madam Secretary?
Valerie Scott Cooper,
Aye.
Hakeem Jones,
Aye.
Sonia Sanders,
Aye.
Heather Lewis,
Aye.
Thomas LaPera,
Aye.
Rebecca Smith, Derek Perry.
Aye. Motion passes. Resolution number 20-87 passes.
And council, just so that we will clarify with PennDOT, that motion passed with those stipulations identified by the municipal engineer, yes? I see nods, so we'll do that.
Okay. Well, since we entered that, I'm going to reread it again, just so we stay within the law. Can we have a motion to pass resolution number 20-87, the road maintenance SR 3020, section 530, with stipulations from the engineer from the Commonwealth in making improvements to Barbados Street, which will include improvements to the municipality's local road system. PennDOT is acquiring the right of way for the improvements to the local road system for the benefit of the municipality.
So moved.
Second.
Madam Secretary, roll call, please. Okay.
Valerie Scott Cooper,
Aye.
Hakeem Jones,
Aye.
Sonia Sanders,
Aye.
Heather Lewis,
Aye.
Thomas LaPera,
Aye.
Rebecca Smith,
Aye.
Derek Perry.
Aye. The ayes have it. Resolution 20-87 passes. Chief Talbot, can you put us in resolution 20-84, please?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Council President. I'm requesting that council consider a motion to approve resolution number 20-84 regarding the designation of 3 disabled parking spaces. The locations are 127 Rosemont Avenue, 900 Arch Street, 2020 Arch Street. I'm sorry, the last location is 1220 Arch Street. The residents at each location have demonstrated that they have physical limitations that make these accommodations necessary. Thank you, Council President.
Council, any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, can we have a motion to pass Resolution 20-84, which is a motion to request for disabled parking spaces to establish handicap parking spaces for addresses 127 Rosemont Avenue, 900 Arch Street, 1220 Arch Street.
So moved.
Second.
Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Valerie Scott Cooper,
Aye.
Hakeem Jones,
Aye.
Sonia Sanders,
Aye.
Heather Lewis,
Aye.
Thomas LaPera,
Aye.
Rebecca Smith,
Aye.
Derek Perry.
Aye, the ayes have it. Resolution 20-84 passes. Mr. Butts, if you're on the call, can you please lead us in Resolution 20-85, please?
Good evening, Mr. President, members of council. Resolution number 20-85 is for the approval of the minimum municipal obligation known as the MMO to be budgeted for the police, fire, non-union pension funds for next fiscal year 2021. This is an annual requirement. It's been approved, laid out by the pension actuary and approved by the pension boards of trustees. State law requires the adoption of the MMO. As I mentioned, the MMO is calculated by the actuary, is funded by a combination of state grant funds and member contributions, supplemented by necessary general fund appropriations. Staff recommends approval of the resolution.
Council, any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, can we have a motion to pass Resolution number 20-85, which is the approval of the minimum municipal obligation to be budgeted for the police, fire, and non-uniform pension plans for fiscal year 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Madam Secretary, can we have roll call, please?
Valerie Scott Cooper,
Aye.
Hakeem Jones,
Aye.
Sonia Sanders,
Aye.
Heather Lewis,
Aye.
Thomas LaPera,
Aye.
Rebecca Smith,
Aye.
Derek Perry.
Aye, the ayes have it. Resolution number 20-85 passes. Monthly reports. Mr. Singh, we know you've been waiting for this time. Let's get a departmental report from you, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, council. I will provide a quick report for our current operations. We have started to perform rental inspections again since the middle of September. They were temporarily suspended since March 19th, but we have started to perform them again. And at the next workshop meeting, I will have some more detailed information for you regarding how many inspections we've been able to conduct in the month of September and October since we've started to perform the inspections again. But regarding our other operations, we have in the month of August issued a total of 94 permits. That's significantly down than this time last year. That's due to the current, economy and the pandemic. There are not a lot of people that are performing, construction projects, but we are hopeful that this number is going to increase in the near future. We have seen more activity every month, month after month. There is more activity, and we're hoping that's going to continue to increase, even though our busy season is about to end at the end of this month. But we're still hopeful that people will continue to do improvements to their properties. We've done in the month of August, ending the month of August, we performed 136 building permit inspections. 11 jobs were found, 11 properties were found where permits were not applied for or obtained. So 11 stop work orders were issued. Unfortunately, we had to condemn 14 properties due to various types of violations, such as either no electricity or unsanitary conditions. We've been continuing to proactively perform a sweep of all of the properties here in Norristown. We've been going block by block, building by building, lot by lot, and inspecting the exteriors of every property in Norristown. So we've continued to do that, and we are looking forward to presenting a report to council sometime next month to show how properties have improved from this time last year when we did the sweep of the entire municipality. We believe that by doing this last year and continuing to send out warning educational letters to property owners, they've been staying on top of maintaining the exteriors of their properties, and we will be sharing that data in the next 30 days here. We have started issuing quick tickets again, so we have been issuing tickets for grass and trash. We issued 162 trash tickets and 178 grass tickets for a total of 340 tickets. And last but not least, our property transfers have significantly gone up. The market is very hot right now, and pretty much if you look on realtor.com or MLS, properties in Norristown are probably being listed for maybe 5 or 6 days, and then they're being sold. So we've been doing a significant increase of property transfer inspections, and we've been trying to stay on top of it. But we are getting a lot of applications, and we're trying to do the best we can to help meet everybody's closings and settlements, and we'll continue to do that. And on the finance side, we are doing very well. We are hoping that we will be meeting our budget goals for 2020, and we have been holding the line, and that's the update that I have. But I will make sure that at the next workshop meeting we have a more detailed monthly report update. And one of the projects that will be coming to council at this next workshop meeting here in a couple of weeks is regarding HARB. Mr. Jones and I have been working on this project along with Ms. Jane, and we are looking forward to bringing that in front of council at the next workshop meeting. That is all I have, Mr. President. Thank you, sir.
Council, any questions or comments for Mr. Singh? Okay, Mr. Singh, thank you for your report. Next, we will go with Mr. Butts in the Finance Department, please.
Well, Mr. President, as you and members of council know, for the past month or so, we've been working diligently with the municipal administrator, department heads, and staff in developing a proposal for the municipal administrator to present to you at your next meeting, the formal presentation of his proposed budget. It's been a serious undertaking. We've tried to anticipate where we'll end fiscal year 2020 We had a plan, obviously, before COVID-19 struck. We're trying to come to some sort of conclusion of how 2020 will end, what we'll have with respect to fund balance going forward, and then also trying to project for 2021 how we'll put a budget together. Right now, there is a gap. We certainly plan to, in working with department heads and Mr. Jones, close that gap and present a budget to council on the 14th that will be balanced with some recommendations on how we would come to that conclusion. So that's taken up an inordinate amount of our time. Along with that, obviously, the daily operations are going along rather smoothly given the circumstances. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Council, any questions or comments from Mr. Butts? Mr. Butts, I got one question for you. You know, knowing that we always try to be as transparent as we can, how many people how many people showed up for public comment or public for the public budget? Do you have a number, or Mr. Tustin, do you have?
We've held 2 hearings to date, and we've had the press was there at our last hearing. There were no members of the general public at either of those hearings.
Okay. Council, any other questions or comments? All right, thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Ms. Gennardi.
Hi, good evening,
How you
everyone.
doing today?
I'm all
This
right.
is our rec department report.
Yes. So I'll start off with some exciting news with Jane's team and myself and Cal and Panoni's team. We were awarded $202,000 for DCNR for the phase 1 and 2 of Riverfront. So that's exciting. So stay tuned. We will have, once they so first we got notified that we were awarded it, and then moving forward, they'll start rolling out everything else when it has to do with the next logistics of how the grant is it's a timeline. So just wanted to say, you know, it is coming for 2021, so I thought that was pretty exciting. So thank you, Jane, for helping me with that. Thank you, Cal, and your team. It's pretty great. Move forward to do where we're at right now with our flood damage. We have 3 claims, so each of the major facilities affected are their own claims. So the recreation center is put in as a claim, the baseball fields are a claim, and the band shell is its own claim. I met with the insurance provider, the estimator, and the consultant this week. We did another walkthrough. This is solely for the rec center. We did another walkthrough. We identified all the contents of both the band shell and the recreation center. We identified them through photographs. I provided before and after pictures of everything. I provided past invoices. This way that the insurance company has all the information they need to move forward. We connected, I also heard from a couple of the contractors that the insurance consultant has reached out to kind of ask a few more questions, as the estimates that we went with were the original contractors that did all of the original remodeling. So this way they know the building, they know that it is an older building, they know what we need and how to go about it to make it the most effective and efficient remediation. So that started today. We should have that report wrapped up and given from the insurance provider to the consultant by Friday. So hopefully that'll get wrapped up for at least the recreation center sooner than later. On another note, park rentals actually have been going up now that the fall has kind of been some gorgeous weather we've had in the fall. Each weekend I have been able to do some great park rentals and a couple small community events, a couple networking events, that have gone well, and using our parks to do so. So I thought that was something to share, is that, we are, at least our rentals are coming through for us. So I think that's about it.
Council, any questions or comments for Ms. Gennardi?
Council,
I just have one. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Ms.
Go ahead, Crandall.
I just want to say, Council, in talking with our insurance broker, they've advised that our claims regarding the rec center and the fields will probably be in the neighborhood of $1 million claim. So, like Erica said, we hope to hear by the end of the week where we are with that.
I have just two questions. Obviously, when it comes to this kind of thing, people stay on council and say that we're not doing our jobs when it comes to doing this cleanup. And what I'm looking at is, do we need to look at another insurance company and how they operate? Because this has taken a very, very long time to basically get our fields done in a timely fashion. Is that something that we need to be looking at? Because I think it's unacceptable if we're waiting this long for an insurance claim.
I agree that it was a long time, and one of the challenges, because I did make the phone calls to the particulars with our insurance company about the length of time it was taking. We had, obviously it was because it was a large storm, and some of their employees were affected by COVID. As a matter of fact, I think it was Erica, one of the original estimator who was coming to do it. Did he get in an accident or something on the way to?
It was that medical lead, yeah, on the way to our thing.
On the way to our claim. But it's really, the real problem has been that there have been so many claims all around the state and the nation related to that storm. And it's just, they didn't have enough people when you add on to the pandemic to be able to deal with it as quickly as they normally would. So as we look at the next time we're up for looking at property and liability insurance, I've already reached out to some other providers who will be giving us quotes as well, and we'll be talking about it. But as I talk to my colleagues, their challenges just because of the breadth of the storm and then COVID. And I think this is an unusual amount of time, because normally this group has been pretty quick in terms of responding to issues.
Yeah, thanks. Because I know a lot of residents have been putting stuff out on Facebook. They have been texting us, calling us, and some people want to help. So if we need a list of people who want to do a cleanup, and I'll be one of them also. Let's try to get that list together if we can.
Well,
just put it out.
The one thing we didn't want to do is disturb the scene until we got a true estimate of what what we were going to be reimbursed for our costs. And secondly, we didn't want to have a volunteer piece at this point just for the liability of the issue and the impact that. So that's why we want to get the claim. We want to know how much money that municipality is going to receive as a result of all of this, and certainly have the work done in a way that once it's done, we're also indemnified for the work itself. So that's why it's best that we wait through this process and then go through the professional route to get it done, so that we actually have coverage for the repairs that are made and the cleanup as well.
Well, thank you. And Mr. Nardi, last question. Getting a lot of people asking this question. When is the Norristown Rec Committee going to meet?
So I emailed the existing, the members that that are voted on, and no one returned my email. So I've been trying to get a meeting together based on their availability and their schedules. I also reached out about, people had been emailing me with interest on joining the committee. So I forwarded them to Crystal. I know I'm not sure what the next step is of that, but I had a couple people. So I just forward those on. But I'll reconnect with the existing members, but no one emailed me back. So I'm trying to get a meeting together sooner than later, as with the grant money coming in and the parks getting ready to get upgraded. I would love a meeting, so I will reach out again.
I will get those applications packages to get Crystal to get those folks, if they haven't put together application packages, to get those put together and distribute that to council, so you all can look at it in advance of a next meeting, if the folks respond, to get them back to us.
Yeah.
Thank you for your report.
Yep.
Next, we have Planning and Municipal Development. Ms. Masanye, please.
Thank you, Council President. So this is what's been going on with the planning department. We are seeing continued activity with transfers, as Mrs. Singh had explained before. So the activity is still ongoing, and it hasn't slowed down, and that's really good for the economy. We are seeing interesting businesses looking to locate in Norristown. One such business is a CBD shop and bar, trying to come somewhere in the town center. We have a fresh food market that is looking to relocate there as well, and they're still trying to do their finances, so we don't know how far they'll get with that. We're also seeing activity with regard to infill development, especially around the hospital area. This has really been a worry for the planning department, because once the hospital moved, it felt like a hole in the middle of Norristown, and we've been very concerned about development. It was good that Elon has completed their first phase and of their development, and they're looking, of course, they're ready to do their second phase of the senior housing. But we've now noticed that developers are buying some of the vacant lots around that area, around the hospital area, and are proposing twin homes and even a single home, which will fill out those gaps that were around there, and they were for home ownership. In fact, they went to the zoning hearing board and received the approvals they needed to continue with that. I'm very pleased about that, because at least that is going to help the further deterioration, if you will, or the missing tooth syndrome. So this is good that we're having developers take an interest in that area. We're also still continuing with the 257 East Main Street project that was basically going through the zoning process. They've gone through that, and now they're starting the land development process. So hopefully you will be seeing the 257 development at your October workshop meeting. And hopefully, if they're coming for the preliminary. You're also going to be seeing 1421 Green Valley Road that you're familiar with. That's another HOA development. They went through zoning as well. They received the approvals, and they're also going to go to the Planning Commission on the 13th, and hopefully we will bring the development, land development on the workshop meeting as well. So we're pleased at least development is continuing that way. We've had a substantial number of use registrations in spite of the pandemic. Last month we did 38 of them. Year to date we have 238. I really wasn't expecting to get to that level, but it's good to know that at least people have the confidence in Norristown to continue trying to improve their properties and they're investing in Norristown. So that's all I have for tonight, unless there are any other questions council has of me.
Council, any questions or comments for Ms. Masonier? Councilman Jones.
Yeah, Jane, I had a question.
Okay.
The new Amrinder also mentioned that a lot of new home purchases are taking place in the past few months. Do you know if they're simply homeowners moving in to start life, or do you know if it's just going to be more so a rental house or a flip? Do you guys get that kind of information?
No, I think Marina would be better in ascertaining that because he does rental inspections.
Okay, so maybe, I mean, not tonight, maybe in the future, before the end of the year, we can have an idea of what some of these home purchases amount to. You know, we've always talked about the imbalance, the 60-40 renter versus homeowner. So we're selling a lot of houses, so maybe we can find out what type of use are going to take place.
Absolutely. The good news is that the proposed developments are mostly home ownership, at least.
Mm-hmm. And one other question: have you had any updates on the Kennedy Kemrick property, or are there any activities, movements? Who's the current owner?
Yeah, there is a confidential agreement that has, I think, been entered into, and they're not ready to disclose right now. But there is activity.
So it's a confidential agreement of sale that someone else will own the Kennedy Kemrick property.
Yeah, they're doing their due diligence. And I don't know if it'll go through. Because we've received some of those before and then they fall off for whatever reason. But yes, there is some activity there.
Thank you.
Councilman Jones, I do have some stats for you regarding the property transfers you were just inquiring about. So as of January 1 to the end of August, we have performed a total of or received and performed a total of 657 property transfers, out of which 321 were owner occupied and 204 were rental occupancy. The others are a mix of, commercial and mixed use. But the one point I do want to mention is going back to it, 321 owner occupied, 204 rental. One of the things we see a lot is because of closing and mortgages, people will fill out the paperwork as owner occupied for their mortgage, but that's as soon as the property closes, literally the next business day or a few days later, they'll come in and apply for a rental license. So that number is not 100% accurate to base how many actual owner-occupied properties there are, because a lot of times, I'm going to say close to about 30% of the time, they will come back and apply for a rental license. But that's where we're at currently, and we'll have a more detailed report for you next month. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Council, any other questions or comments for Mr. Singh? I'm sorry, Ms. Masonier. All right, seeing none. Thank you, Ms. Masonier, for the report. Seeing none, once again, everybody, reach out to somebody, family member or something if you're going through something. Starting to hear a lot of stuff about people doing some crazy stuff, just maybe because they just don't have someone to talk to or just going through something. You have my number. You can always reach out to me. Also, COVID is still here. Obviously, the president has it, right? So let's be careful out there as we go through this, and everybody be safe. And can we have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? All right, seeing none, everybody enjoy your night and enjoy it.